Have you ever held a newborn baby? There's a moment, isn't there, when you look into their eyes and there's nothing but presence, no judgment, no agenda, just a pure, trusting openness, a kind of primal innocence. The mystics and the poets have tried to name this quality for millennia. It's a state of being we all knew once. A time before the world taught us to be careful. Before the first heartbreak taught us to build walls. Before the first betrayal taught us to be suspicious. We all began in that state of grace, but the journey of life, for every single one of us, is a story of what happens to that innocence. Do we lose it? Do we protect it? Or is it possible to face the shocks and sorrows of life and somehow miraculously find our way back to it? Not as an absence of experience, but as a crowning achievement of it. That is the question I want to explore with you today. And our guide on this journey is a beautiful, profound idea nestled within a fascinating framework for understanding the human experience. Now, some of you have heard of human design. If you have, wonderful. If not, don't worry. Think of it as don't think of it as a rigid system of labels, but as a language, a sophisticated language of energy that helps us describe the human soul's journey. It gives us a map, a kind of blueprint of the energetic currents that flow through us. This map shows us centers of energy, channels that connect them, and 64 themes. We'll call them gates, which are like 64 archetypal themes of the human experience. We all have access to all 64 of these themes, all of them. The story of what it means to be human is written in these 64 energies. Where your map is colored in or defined, it simply points to energies that are consistent and reliable for you, your energetic signature. Where it's white or open is where you are designed to take in the world and grow wise. And I believe that within each of us, there's an inner council of wisdom, our intuition, our emotions, our identity, that helps us navigate our lives. Human design helps us get to know the voices on that council. But ultimately, our goal is to align the entire council with a higher light, with what some call the divine, the universal, or what I personally call God. Today, we are going to focus on just one of these 64 themes, a single gate. But this gate, I believe, holds the key to an important part of the human story. It's called Gate 25. In the language of human design, this is the gate of the spirit of the self. It's also called the gate of innocence. And my favorite name for it is the gate of universal love. It sits here in what is called the identity center, the very center of our love, our direction, our sense of self. It's the spiritual core. And this gate, Gate 25, represents a very specific kind of love. It's not the romantic love of movies. It's not the fierce, protective love of a parent for a child. It is a love that is unconditional, unprejudiced, and unbounded. It's the love for life itself. The love you might feel for a sunset, for a stranger's kindness, for the perfect stillness of a forest. It is a love for the divine spark in all things. To understand its quality, I want you to imagine 3 sliders, like on a mixing board. The first is intensity. How strongly do you feel this energy? The second is frequency. How often does this energy show up in your life? The third, and the most important one for our journey today, is the quality slider. This is the one we have the most influence over. The quality of any energy can range from its lowest, most fearful expression, what we can call its shadow, to its healthy and vibrant expression, its gift. all the way to its most transcendent and divine expression. So, let's look at the quality of gate 25. At its lowest quality, in its shadow, the energy of gate 25 is, well, let's call it constriction. This is the absence of love. It's the state of the closed heart. It's what happens after the innocence has been wounded, after the betrayal, the trauma, the disappointment. It is the clenched fist of the soul, the feeling of being cut off, alone, encased in a kind of spiritual ice. In this state, we become cynical, we suffer, we feel a deep mythic wound of separation from the source of life and love. The great writer C.S. Lewis understood the shadow perfectly. He wrote, to love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything in your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give it to no one. Lock it up, safe in a casket of your selfishness. But in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, airless, it will change. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable. That's constriction, the tragedy of the heart, that in trying to protect itself from being broken becomes unbreakable. And in doing so, it stops living. We've all felt this, that numb, hardened place where we swear, never again. But that is not our destiny. It is a signpost. It's a call to begin the journey upward, and the path out of the shadow is through the gift. The gift of gate 25. We'll call it acceptance. Acceptance is not passivity. It is not resignation. It is one of the most courageous, active, and spiritually potent things that a human being can do. Acceptance is the gentle rebellion of an open heart in a world that teaches us to close it. It is looking at our pain, our circumstances, our sacred wound, and instead of resisting it, we breathe it in. We allow it. We say, yes, this hurts, and I will stay with it. I will learn from it. I will trust that there is a purpose in it. Acceptance is the thawing of the ice. It is the unclenching of the fist. When we practice acceptance, we become what's known as the wounded healer. Our past pains are no longer sources of bitterness. They are transmuted into the credentials of our compassion. We can sit with another person's suffering without flinching because we have learned to sit with our own. Our very presence becomes healing. Whether gate 25 is colored in your own chart or not, this journey belongs to us all. The journey from the constricted heart to the accepting heart is the path of emotional and spiritual maturity. It's how we grow a soul. And what happens when we master acceptance? What is the highest potential of this energy? The highest expression of gate 25 is universal love. This is agape, the pure love of Christ. Charity. It is the state of consciousness where the separation between you and everything else dissolves. You see the divine in the eyes of your enemy. You love a flower with the same intensity you love your family, not because you devalue your family, but because you see the sacredness in everything. There is no hierarchy, there is only love. And the state, the innocence we started with, is returned to us. But it's no longer naive. It's a wise innocence, a chosen innocence. You have seen the darkness. You have chosen the light. You have been wounded, and you choose to love anyway. This is the heart of the saint, the Bodhisattva, the true spiritual master. And there is one figure who, for me, models this state perfectly. In the life of Christ, we see the journey embodied. He was the most innocent, yet he suffered the most. He was wounded, yet his wounds became the very source of healing for all humanity. Even after his resurrection, the story goes that he retained the marks in his hands and feet, a timeless symbol that our greatest power comes not from avoiding our wounds, but from transmuting them with unconditional love. He taught us to love our enemies, to turn the other cheek, not as acts of weakness, but as expressions of the highest spiritual power, a love that overcomes all things. This journey, from constriction through acceptance to universal love, is a beautiful story, but it's not a peaceful one. The universe, it seems, wants to make sure we are serious about this. Gate 25 doesn't exist in a vacuum. It reaches out towards Gate 51, what some call the gate of shock, the gate of initiation. Gate 51 is the energy of the thunderbolt. It is the unexpected challenge, the sudden awakening, the trial by fire. It is the warrior's courage to leap into the unknown. When the universal love and innocence of Gate 25 meets the shocking initiatory power of Gate 51, they form the channel of what is called the channel of initiation. Think of it this way. Gate 51 is the lightning strike of life, and Gate 25 is the lightning rod. Life will bring the lightning, the sudden loss, the unexpected diagnosis, the shocking betrayal, the terrifying risk. The question is, how does our heart, our spirit, handle the shock? Does it shatter? Or does it channel the immense energy into the ground of our being, and in so doing, illuminate the entire sky? The true spiritual initiation is not the shock itself. The true initiation is the test. Can you retain your innocence? Can you keep your heart open? Is in spite of the shock. Can you walk through the fire and not become cynical? Can you be a warrior not by hardening your heart, but by keeping it vulnerably, courageously open? The poet Rumi wrote, quote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." The channel of initiation teaches us the shocks are not there to destroy us. They are there to crack us open so that a greater love and a higher light can pour in. We try to capture this journey, this sacred alchemy, in a short poem called The Innocent Heart. I built a wall of stone around my heart to keep the world of thunder locked outside, a fortress safe in solitary art, where my small, frightened, wounded self could hide. But lightning strikes on stone. It does not wait. It cracks the strongest wall. It turns its sand. And through the breach that shock did perforate, a blade of grass grew up to touch my hand. I learned that innocence is not a wall, but it is a field left open to the sky, to feel the sun, the rain, to welcome all and trust the roots that help the flower rise. So let the lightning come. I will not hide. My open heart is where the light gets inside. So, how do we do this? How do we live this? How do we move from constriction to acceptance? It all begins with a choice. A simple, conscious, daily choice to keep the heart open. It starts with forgiving someone, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Holding a grudge is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Forgiveness is the act of setting a prisoner free and discovering that the prisoner was you. That is acceptance in action. It continues with the small acts of unconditional kindness, paying for the drink of a person behind you, offering a genuine compliment to a stranger, listening, truly listening to someone without trying to fix them. These small acts are practice. You are training your soul to speak the language of universal love, and it is deepened through surrender. In moments of fear or pain, instead of fighting it, you can place your hand on your heart and you can breathe and you can whisper to that higher power, to the divine, to God, I trust you. Help me see the love in this. Take this pain and make something beautiful from it. This is the prayer of acceptance. It is the most powerful prayer I know. This isn't just a nice idea. This is the core technology of the human experience, the technology of the human spirit. In a world that is increasingly polarized, cynical, and fearful, an open, loving, innocent heart is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of profound and necessary rebellion. It is the one thing that can heal our families, our community, and our world. We all came from a place of pure, trusting openness. And the entire journey of our life is a grand cosmic invitation to find our way back. Not to the naivete of a child who has never been hurt, but to the luminous, unbreakable, all-embracing innocence of a soul who has been through the fire and has learned that love is the only thing that is real. So I leave you with this invitation. Look at your life. Look at the places where your heart has become constricted, where you have built a wall, and ask yourself, what would it take? What would it take to let just one stone fall? What would it feel like to practice one small act of acceptance today? Because your innocence isn't gone, it's just waiting for you to come home. May you find the courage to keep your heart open. May you remember the profound universal love that you are. With that, I thank you, and a good night.